You're welcome back. In this particular video, we'll be talking about headings, we're talking about paragraph tags, we're talking about some other cool, amazing stuff in HTML. So one of the things I love to do whenever I'm taking HTML like this is to try to divide my files into several stuffs, so that at the end of the day, you guys can actually go back to this particular files. So I'm creating another file here, and let me just call it heading.html for now. Heading.html. So that we are going to include everything about heading inside of it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about before I start talking about heading tags and other kind of tags that we can find in HTML, I want to talk about the doc type, right? So the doc type in HTML comes with something like this. Now, we use this to declare that our document is HTML, right? And we are basically writing on HTML5, right? So HTML have other versions of HTML from 1 to 4 down to 5, but we are currently on HTML5. So what you guys are learning in this particular video is called HTML5, right? So, and this doc type tells our browser, communicates to our browser that we are writing on HTML5, and basically that's how it's done. Now, another thing again I want to also show you guys is a shortcut instead of VS Code, right? So if you type DOC like this instead of VS Code and you click on enter, it automatically helps you generate some series of tags that look similar to what we've written down here in our basic tags, right? Now basic file like what we created in the last video. Now in this particular DOC, you could see that the HTML is being specified and the language is EN. Later I'll talk about attributes. Then you could see the heading tag is specified as well, and so on and so forth, right? So many things have been specified here. We see the heading tag, we see the character sets, so many other things are specified here, but don't worry yourself with all of these meta tags, just leave them the way they are. Later we're going to explain what meta tags, what they actually do. So I'm going to come over here and I'll type heading, right? Just in case you want me to repeat what I just did again, let me delete this and do it all over again before I continue. I just type DOC and hit enter. That is a shortcode in VS Code. Then I'm going to change here to heading, right? So let's call this heading and paragraph or something like that. Heading and paragraph, right? So in this particular video, I want to talk about the heading tags, right? So so the first tag I'm going to talk about now is the heading tag. So heading tags in HTML have about 6 different kind of heading tag, and it's related with H1. So we have from H1 to H6. So I'm going to start with H1, and I'll say heading 1. So we use this to declare the type of heading that we want. So heading 1, and okay, this will, instead of me to highlight Ctrl C, then bring it down and say Ctrl V to paste, I can easily just use Ctrl C, Ctrl V. It's like another shortcut of VS Code as well, and shortcut of VS Code as well that you can help you just copy a line and replicate that particular line. So I'll do that. I'll say Ctrl Z on my keyboard and Ctrl V to keep replicating it. So I'll count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need one more, 6. So I'll change this to 2, 3. Okay. I'm making a mistake now. Okay. 4, 5, 6. All right. Let's do the same thing here to ensure it is well close to as well. This one should be 2. And let's change this to 3, 4, 5, 6 as well. Then probably I'll change this one to just numbers. I think it will be easy for us that way, so we can actually see the difference. And I'm going to make this one 6. So once I save this now, of course, you know the way we run these things, right? I can easily just go back here, and under my heading tag, I'm going to say open with Google Chrome. And once I do that, I'm going to see my heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, and heading 6 tags, right? It simply means that the heading 1 is the biggest, followed by heading 2, followed by heading 3, then to heading 6, which is the smallest. So these are our heading tags in HTML. And the next thing I want to talk about is the paragraph tag. So I'll come over here and I'll say, okay, we discussed paragraph the other day, right? That is the last video. So right now I'm going to say this is a simple paragraph tag, right? And the good thing about paragraph is allowed just like our normal MS Word or our normal paragraph in English and in writing. This is what it does, right? So anytime I want to write the paragraph, just put it in there. For example, now I could generate Lorem Eastman demo text instead of VS Code, but just type in Lorem, right? And hit enter. This would be another demo paragraph. So let's see what we've done. I'll go back and I'll refresh. and I will say this is the second paragraph we created using the lorem ipsum and the other paragraph. And the cool thing is that even if you create another paragraph back to back, like beside it as well, let's get another paragraph, another version of lorem there, and go back here and refresh, we are going to see that it is of different line, of course, and not the same line, which is super amazing if you ask me. Now, before I round up this particular video, another thing again I would love to talk about is HTML elements, right? So what exactly are HTML elements? So HTML element is everything from the start of the tag to the ending of the tag. In other words, everything like this is an HTML, including the heading 1 that it contains, right? They are all what? HTML elements. Now let's talk about types of HTML elements. We have like two types, or I would love to say 3 types of HTML elements. We have what we call the nested HTML elements. For example, everything from this closing body tag to the opening of the body tag is an element, right? So, and if an element is nested, it simply means that there is another element inside another element. For example, inside this body element, we have this H1 element, we have this paragraph element, we have this heading 2 element, right? It simply means that this body element is a nested element. Now, the second type of element I would love to talk about is the non-empty element. So the reason I call it non-empty element is because it contains or carries stuffs, right? For example, now the head H1, the paragraph text, and all of these tags that we have there, they are all example of what? Non-empty elements. Why? Because of course you can see that you are carrying heading 1, and this other one is carrying this is a simple paragraph text. It could actually contain stuff. And the last type of element I would love to talk about will be the empty element. Now with the empty element, it cannot carry anything except for itself, right? And a clear example of that particular element is what I'm going to treat now, which is going to be the line break element. So let's talk about that. So I'm going to paragraph, I'll say this is us trying out an empty element, right? So I'll put it here, I'll put a full stop, I'll say, so if we go back and refresh, we're going to have this is us trying out an empty element, right? So if I go back now, what is the empty element we want to try? It will be the line break tag, which is called B tag. Now, and the cool thing about this empty element is that it will not be closed the same way that other elements have been closed. For example, if you take a look at this paragraph tag, we used to call it open and close, right? In other words, if we want to do it like that, we have to say /BR. Like this, right? But we can't do that, right? Because an empty element. So the way we close this is by adding a / in front of it. So now the way this particular tag is like this, it is completely open and closed at the same time. Because of what? It is an empty element and it does not carry anything, no text, nothing, just apart from itself. It does not carry anything, it does not contain anything, right? So because I add the / in front of it instead of the back of it here, I have actually opened and closed the element in one same place. So this particular line break tag, now let's say the function. So if we save this and come back here and refresh, we are going to see that wherever it is, it takes it to the next line. It's just like you typing on your regular code like this, typing on your regular MS Word like this, and you hit on enter and start typing again. So that is what the line break tag does for us basically, right? So let me delete all of this gibberish I'm typing. So I have the BR tag. So this BR tag is not the only empty element tags that we have there. We have another empty element tag that is known as the HR tag, which I'm going to add / to it. I always love adding space. It's just like a habit that I'm used to. So I'll leave that and let's try the HR element. So the HR element is what we call the horizontal rule element, right? And this allows us to actually draw horizontal lines. Right, so these are amazing stuff. These are cool things, right? That we could actually try, and we could see that they are really working, and they are super amazing. So that being said, I will just like continue to do what we know how to do. So let's take a look at some of the things we've learned. We learned about the doc type. We learned about the DOC shortcut in VS Code. In this particular video, we've learned about all our heading tags, and about paragraph tag. We also learned about the empty elements tags as well. Now, thank you for watching this particular video. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and go through the playlist to have the full videos, and see you in the next video.